Hello, 8th grade science. These are the directions to the Bending Light Lab. So you're going to find that assignment on Google Classroom here. It's a Google Doc. And this is somewhat set up similarly to when we did those PhET simulations for Unit 4, motion and energy stuff, because this is also a PhET simulation. So what you're going to want is you're going to need the simulation open, and then also these directions. And these are these like little video tutorial, or they're not videos, but you know what I mean. So we're going to kind of look at the tutorial first, and then I'll explain how to do the actual assignment. So when you actually get the simulation open, you're going to click on the intro. You want to turn the laser light on. You're going to need this protractor eventually. You're also going to need the intensity meter. This kind of gives you some information about the mediums and things like that. I have to hover my cursor here. That's funny. And I think that's all we have to do, right? Oh, and then you just type I'm ready, which I'm not going to do. Okay, so let's match that. So we need intro, turn this thing on, get my protractor out. And what you want to do with your protractor is you want the 0, this tick mark and that 0 to line up with the dotted line. And then that kind of bar in the middle, you want to line up with the surface of the blue, in this case, which is water. And get pretty close. You can be off a little bit, but that's, I gotta go a little lower. That's good. And then just drag your intensity meter over. You can actually drag this part separate. So just put it somewhere where you can read it easily. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be kind of exploring again how light transmits, reflects, refracts through different mediums that you're kind of be looking at in this assignment. So again, these words are kind of up here just in case you need to reference them, because you're going to be using them quite a bit. We already set it up here. And the first question is, what are the two mediums? So they list the mediums, move my camera, as they call them just materials. So the top one is air and the bottom one is water. So those are my two mediums that I'd write about here. And then you want to write about what are two things that the light does when it hits the surface of the water. So if you look, here's our laser beam. And when it hits here, it changes its course just a little bit. So it doesn't keep going straight, which would be like, say it's between 30 and 60 here. It should stay between 30 and 60, but now it's more to the 30. So it's changing direction. It's being bent, i.e., that means it's being refracted. And then some of it, you can see here, is also being reflected. That's why when you look out on a pond or a lake or the ocean, you can kind of see the sun bouncing off it, because some of that light is also reflected. So those are two things that we see. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have to use some angles. So you want to make sure that the ruler is pointed at a 45-degree angle. So right now, right, we got 30, 35, 40, 45. So the default is 45. So you shouldn't have to change anything. And you're going to talk about some of the intensity. So you're going to have to measure this, and I'll kind of show you. So if it's before it enters the water, you're going to drag our little reading over so it intersects it. That's before. This is in the water. And then this is the part that's being reflected. And you'll write some of those numbers down. And then you're going to change the angle. So in this case, we're going to go down to an 80-degree angle. So you just drag this to the 80, which is that big tick mark above 90. You'll measure those intensities again. And then I believe you go to 10. Yeah, so almost directly above it. That's the first big tick mark past the 0. Measure those intensities again. And then there's some questions there. You're going to go to 0, measure that. And then the bottom part is what I want to talk about a little bit now. So now what you're going to do, it says you want to reset it, because you're going to kind of test this out. But you're going to see how light interacts with new mediums. This whole time we've been doing just air and water, and now we're going to do new materials. So for the example, right, when it was with the water, it looked really similar to this. And now I want to see what happens when we do it with glass. So if I'm going to change that, and I'll probably reset mine. So it's at that 45-degree angle again, put my protractor back. Get out my light intensity, turn it on. All you're going to do is you're going to change the bottom one to glass instead of water. And you'll see that changes a little bit of what's happening to how the light is bent. And you're going to kind of mimic that or draw that in this Google drawing here. And so you'll be able, just like I've done here, to add or kind of draw those lasers just by adding the line tool. You can change the color if you'd like. But other than that, you should be good to go. And you're just going to kind of repeat that process using new mediums. Check it on there. So like when it's both in water, it's a straight line. What's going to happen when they're both air, these mediums? This is the beginning again. What happens when it's glass over air? And then there's 3 conclusion questions I'd like you to answer. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.